Hello, my name is Milo and welcome to my rural DoorDash ride-along. It is Christmas Eve morning and it's raining a little bit. I already accepted my first offer, which was a Taco Bell order for $6 and some for 3 miles. And then while I was on my way to Taco Bell, I got an add-on for Burger King for just a little bit more. But because it's an add-on, I get the $2 base pay for both orders. It's my first year doing DoorDash. I started in June, and I didn't dash during Thanksgiving, which was the other really big holiday here. So this is a bit of a new experience, and I'm excited to see what the day brings. It's a little after 8 in the morning. I'm gonna go until probably about 1 o'clock. Most places are gonna be closed in the evening, so I'm not gonna bother dashing tonight, even though there will be peak pay then. But also, I had other plans. I've not dashed as much this month as I wanted to because I was out sick a few days at the beginning of the month. I also had some family stuff come up. I'm gonna see if I can pick up the pace today with a very busy shift like it looks like it's gonna be. All right, so I picked up the Taco Bell already, and now I am pulling into Burger King to pick up that order. So the first order has been dropped off, and I've delivered to this customer before. I recognized it as soon as I saw the message about where to leave it. This customer always wants me to put it at the back door. And now I am on my way to the second customer, who is at a hotel, and it's a leave at room door. So with those two deliveries together, that was over $10 in only 21 minutes and 4.6 miles, which is a fantastic pace. And I immediately got hit with a Walgreens order. One item to shop for, $4 and change. I've said it before, I don't love shopping, but hey, if it's only one item and it's not going very far, that is the best kind of shopping order to do. That is probably the fastest I've ever completed a shopping order. It was just a bottle of laundry detergent. It was on the aisle it was supposed to be, and I quickly found the correct one, and there was no line at checkout. Awesome. So I'm going to deliver this, and the delivery notes say, "Please don't knock, the baby's asleep." I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. I love it when people tell you whether they want you to knock or not. Because some people are watching the app, they know you've arrived, they don't want you to wake the baby or get set off the dog or whatever. And some people aren't watching the app and want to know that you're there so they don't leave it out in the cold to get stolen. So it really helps when customers say what their preference is. When I order on DoorDash, which I don't do very often, I put in the delivery notes, "Please don't knock," because I watch the app and my dog hates when people come over. But I think it makes me a better dasher having seen the customer-facing app and knowing what it's like when someone's shopping for you, when someone's picking up food from a restaurant for you, what it looks like when your dasher is on a stacked offer. I think it is really helpful for me as a dasher to have experienced that. And I also think being a dasher makes me a better customer as well, because I understand what kind of tip ratios make sense. I'm not saying that everyone should dash and be a customer, because I know that's not practical for everyone, but I think if you have the means to do both, it's a fantastic idea. Well, I didn't have an immediate offer, so I pulled into Starbucks as my default center of town waiting spot, but I just got a new offer from a tavern at 9 in the morning. I'm curious if they're even open. Well, they were in fact open, and they had quite a few customers at 9 in the morning. And now I'm on my way to deliver this breakfast order from the tavern to a hotel. So that one is dropped off. Interestingly, the address said one room number, but his delivery note said a different room number. So I called to confirm, but as I was waiting for him to pick up, he answered the door in a bathrobe. I know some dashers have talked about how it can be uncomfortable if their customer meets you at the door not fully dressed. I've had that a few times now, never in a way that felt creepy to me. And now I am on my way to pick up a Starbucks order that is a $6 plus. I always like seeing that plus sign, although you never know how much it's actually going to go up. It may be a negligible amount, but we'll find out. So the total ended up being $7, $1 whole more. It was a PIN required, so as I was walking up to the door, I sent a message to the customer saying I'm here, and I walk up to the front desk, and the guy at the desk says, "Who's this for?" I say this is who it's for, but I need a PIN. Wait for the customer to come up, who says, "I hate that they added a PIN now." The last time I ordered for myself on DoorDash, I wanted to try adding a PIN just to see how that worked on the customer end, but I discovered that indeed, that is not a choice the customer has. That is something that DoorDash decides for you. Apparently it's based on whether you've reported missing items or other issues. Anyway, I am waiting for a new assignment because I don't have one right now. And while we're just sitting and waiting for an assignment, I just want to talk about this new bag. Apparently about a month or so ago, there was this challenge of complete a dash between these dates and you get a new bag. So I got this bag for free, and I actually really like this one. It's not as tall as I was thinking it was going to be, but I like it better than the original DoorDash bag that they sent me because it zips along 3 sides instead of right down the middle. So the really tall, oversized bags that some restaurants like McDonald's and Burger King will give you, in the original DoorDash bag with the zipper down the middle, the zipper would get caught on the handle. Either you couldn't put it in the bag, or you'd be fighting with that handle trying to fold it over. With this, it folds over easily because the zipper isn't going in the same pathway as that handle. So I really, really like that. This bag is a great addition, and I'm primarily using this one now. I waited maybe about 15 minutes or so, and then I got this order, $4.74 from Ultralife Cafe, which I think is fairly new to DoorDash, or I certainly haven't picked up from them before anyway. Oh yeah, this is a nasty part of town for parking. Probably not too bad at 9:30 in the morning, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to park right in front of the business. That's very unlikely. You know what? There's room to parallel park right here, and I'm only right around the block from it. So I'm just parking here because I know it's a spot. All right, I have this order picked up. 2 drinks, 2 food items. It was a good thing I parked on the cross street, because if I'd actually turned onto their street, there was not room to park there. So that saved me having to go around the block all over again. But unfortunately, I was facing the wrong direction where I parallel parked. So to go around the block anyway, to turn around and point in the direction toward the customer. That's okay. You get used to doing stuff like this. So that was one of those contactless delivery, call the customer to arrange a drop-off location. And it was a business, so I'm like, I should actually follow the instructions, call and say, where do you want me to put it? I saw a bench next to the door, and so I called and I said, do you want me to put it here? And she said, yeah, that'd work great. And before I'd even taken the picture, she was coming outside to grab it. I'm like, I could have just handed it to her at that rate. That is completed. I'm at $32 in an hour and a half, still maintaining a good 20 an hour pace. I'm still over $2 a mile. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do is find a public bathroom while I'm in between offers. 9:45, I'm probably reaching the deader time of the morning. This is probably the best time. So I'm not pausing the app yet. I'm gonna wait just a moment. There were people camping in front of that bathroom, blocking the entrance, so I'm gonna just find a different one. All right, I'm going to pause DoorDash for just a moment. All right, and that bathroom had a working sink, working soap dispenser. I do have cleaning wipes in the car. It is convenient for a number of reasons. I need to have clean hands, so it was my fault back if I couldn't safely wash my hands there. But I also use those cleaning wipes to wipe down my cup holders after I've had my dog in the back seat, because I have a dog who sheds a lot, so I don't ever take him with me when I'm dashing. I don't know if that's actually a thing that is in the DoorDash contract, but it just seems like common sense to me. Don't bring your dog. He only rides in the back seat. I only put food in the front seat. And after the dog's been in the car, I wipe down the cup holders and I take a lint roller to the passenger seat. I do everything that I can think of to possibly prevent any contamination. Well, that was a very long lull. I went for at least 45 minutes without an offer there. But now I have a Starbucks offer that I just picked up. I didn't look very closely at the payout. I don't think it was that interesting. I was just more glad that I'm able to do some more work and not just sit in my car waiting around. Starbucks was slammed when I came in. I had to wait a few minutes. But the previous time I went into Starbucks today, they had it already ready. So amazing what a difference an hour can make. Well, I had to wait another good chunk of time there. So the next offer I got was not a very good one. It's a longer distance going to Toledo. I don't love this offer, but I'm taking it because I'm tired of waiting. So I'm picking up 6 units of one item from Safeway Pets. And I'm hoping it's like cans of food or something rather than huge bags. I wasn't sure if that car was gonna let me back out, but they were waiting for my parking spot. It's kind of busy at Safeway today, which makes sense, Christmas Eve. So what was funny, that showed up as Safeway Pets on the offer screen, but it was all drinks. There was no pet food, pet anything in there. Now I gotta go take this all the way to Toledo, and I've delivered to this customer before. I recognize the instructions. I will meet you at your car. Hello, I have just picked up your order, and I am leaving Newport now. I will be pulling up in a silver Toyota Corolla. Well, I gotta get my hourly rate back on track because I'm at 3.5 hours and $45. Dollar to mile still fine. I'm at 25 miles, so even after I drive back into Newport, I'm still gonna be over $1 a mile, so that part's fine. When DoorDash remapped their zones, it made it so that my drive between Newport and Toledo, if I take Highway 20, I dip outside of the zone and back in 3 different times on the way. Now I'm back in Newport and waiting for an offer. Supposedly it's busy. I'm seeing hotspots with red honeycombs around them. It says 2 to 5 minutes. Oh, yay, I got an offer. Local ocean seafoods, it's only $4.25, but that's okay. That one was picked up and dropped off in under 10 minutes. The customer was only a few blocks away from the restaurant. I am tired of waiting. I'm gonna end the dash and run a couple personal errands. $49.81 in 4 hours and 15 minutes. That's pathetic. That is not 15 an hour. I have driven 33.8 miles, so dollar to mile is good. Okay, it started out as a great shift. It just didn't end good. All right, I'm gonna run my personal errands and then be done. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry it was a bit anticlimactic. Sorry for me too. But I hope you have a good holiday season. Christmas may be already over by the time I post this. Hope you're doing well. Happy dashing, and I'll see you in the next video.